Well, I would like to talk about is how digital presence can affect winning projects.
And it's something that is always shifting. It's like the goalposts are moving every other week when it comes to marketing.
Leon is the founder of Local Engage, an agency that builds high-converting websites for the construction industry. He has seen the financial devastation of a weak digital presence and the dark side of toxic business partnerships. Today, he reveals the reality of the AI takeover, the impact of bad leadership, and how to force your business to scale.
What got you to here and why you chose to work so closely with builders?
COVID hit, unfortunately, and everyone was cutting on marketing spend and I had to pivot. How do you think the AI is going to affect the building space?
Massively. I think that AI will bunny hop a bunch of tech uptake.
It's disrupting every industry, and I don't think building to be any different to that.
You're either going to force change upon the team or force them out of the team.
That's a cool thing that you have there, and they want to live to that standard. So
exactly. The company lives and dies based on like the mojo of the owners and the founder.
It's the fish rots from the head down, and it's the same thing in organizations. It starts from the top.
What are some of the other things that people could do better to build converting websites, not just pretty websites?
The major thing that everybody can start doing is
live, baby. We are live. Another episode of the Builders Ladder podcast, joined here by Leon. What is up, brother? How you doing?
Thanks for having me on. No, I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. For context for all the listeners, we've just been on the line for 40 minutes talking shit, not recording a podcast. And then we realized that we had KPIs to hit and we need to fucking do some work. So here we are hitting record and doing a podcast about what today? What are we doing to chat about?
I think from my perspective, I would like to talk about is how digital presence can affect winning projects.
Yeah.
And also how it can help you win higher value projects or none at all, depending on the type of presence you do have.
Yes.
And yeah, I think in a very word of mouth industry, it's actually very important because people are typing you into Google, into ChatGPT, and that will start to evolve. So having some form of digital footprint is going to be even more important moving into 2026. So yeah, keen to talk about that today.
Bloody oath, 100%. And it's something that is always shifting. It's like the goalposts are moving every other fucking week when it comes to marketing. Because, you think you nail SEO and then all of a sudden, Chatty G pops up and then all the next thing, it's all back to basics and you should be doing flyers and letters in the mailbox. Deciding on what to do for your marketing more broadly and then your digital piece can be so confusing. So let's hit some of actually before we get into some of the needle movers or the 80/20 of the 80/20, let's give some context to everybody. What do you actually do and how do you do it?
Yeah, so at Local Engage, we specialize in creating high converting websites. We're working in the construction industry. We've worked with a lot of builders, both in US and in Australia. More recently, Australia, but I have a lot of experience in US market and Canada market as well.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, definitely marketing from a whole holistic perspective is what we try and do at Local Engage. We do run paid ads for construction as well. So that's Meta and Google, and we want to basically tie everything into your brand strategy, your marketing strategy. How is that going to fit into where you're going towards, right? And how these things are going to basically fit into that. That's how we like to work. It's not just like, hey, we make a website and that's what we do. It's how is this going to achieve the broader business objectives? So yeah, we do brand strategy and things like that as well in order to achieve that too.
Nice. Awesome. You said Canada, the USA, Aussie. What's the matter with New Zealand? Why don't you love New Zealand?
I think it's a smaller market. I just haven't had many people come to me
Sure.
from New Zealand, but I would love more Kiwi clients. Love the South Island when I went visiting there like many years ago. So
Yeah.
good people, just need more of them to come through to me.
Nice, nice. Now, fair enough. You said something just before, which is the entire reason that we're even here having this conversation. Because for transparency, we see a heap of website builders, right? But they either A, don't specialize in construction, or B, don't understand the difference between a pretty looking brochure and a website that actually converts and is a 24/7, 365 sales rep for you. So, like what the way that we break it down is like there's traffic and there's conversion. Traffic is the eyeballs that you get, and you could get those eyeballs from putting a site sign on the side of a busy road, or you could go to paid ads like Meta or LinkedIn or Google or whatever. And then there's conversion. So that's traffic, getting the actual people. Then conversion is turning those people into qualified or nurtured and educated inquiry. And that comes from not just showing pretty pictures of your good looking portfolio of work. It comes from actually telling people, who are you? Who's your team? How can I trust you? How can you help me specifically? I've got concerns around timeline, budget, trustworthiness, quality, communication. And we've got a whole thing around that. But I want to hear it from you and what you see as like the 80/20 of the 80/20, the big needle movers. How do we get more conversion from our websites?
Yeah. The major thing that everybody can start doing is your messaging. That is who is your defining your ideal customer profile. So that's your customer avatar. What type of work do we want to be doing? That is the most essential thing you have to ask yourself because we have clients that come to us, they do rooftop extensions, they do renovations, they do, you know, different things, right? But they want to do new home builds. So everything on the website needs to actually reflect that. Not to say that you don't put renovations and rooftop extensions on your website, but that messaging needs to talk to the concerns, the pains, the desires of the people that are looking in the market for a new design and build, if that's what you do, the whole thing, or just a builder.
Mhm.
So those things need to be then accompanied by the work that you do, and all of that needs to be an integrated approach. And then obviously the design and how it looks. So that the biggest needle mover is the messaging. I've seen terrible websites with fantastic messaging and they convert unbelievably well versus websites that look fantastic and they got no messaging on it at all. It's just photos and it's like, how are you? What's in it for me? Why am I here? Okay, this
Yeah,
looks good, but I don't understand. You're not talking to me. I'm not resonating with you as a human being. So
totally.
um, those things need to be definitely
That's a
um,
really good point. So it's like I've seen three that have been really good in the last kind of like 6 to 9 months. One was a business called, I think they were called Second Story. I reckon you could probably guess what they did. They added a second story to a premises. There was another that did almost the same thing, but they were like house lifters. So
yeah,
again, they did exactly what, it kind of sounds like they do. And then the third was actually a plumbing company. And on the top in the hero section, right above the fold, was guaranteed running hot water in 90 minutes or less, right? And it was like, fuck, that is a fantastic promise. Like, if I am out of hot water, I'm not going to call anybody else but them, right?
yeah. And to go to talk about that point as well, change your offer, change your business. I think that's a pretty well-known thing in here, but I think definitely if you change the offer and you give something that maybe you can that adds a little bit of extra value or that guarantee,
Yeah.
and you can deliver on that, and you have testimonials like supporting those things. All of that goes a very, very long way to converting digitally.
Yeah,
Um,
so good. So, like, I just want to unpack a few of these because I think that, like, sharing examples and stories is like a really good way to demonstrate this. So, we have our members build a marketing guarantee or a professional promise, whatever we want to call it. And generally, it's made up of like 5 points. And funnily enough, the 5 points are the five primary concerns people have when they're looking for a builder, which is timeline, budget, trustworthiness, quality, and communication. So, like, for example, the sixth or seventh point can then be unique to the project type that they're doing. Okay, so timeline. renovations, you're often renting somewhere to live in off-site while they work on your home, right? And it's you might have a set move-in date, excluding variations. And for every day we go over the move-in date, we'll pay you $112, right?
We're running an offer at the moment where we'll pay your rent until you're in. So, things like that. Not to say, and I think I see this with a lot of builders, they get worried.
About the
Oh,
downside.
if we, but it's like the whole point is that you won't, right? And
Yeah.
you have the clear exclusions in there that, hey, if you ask for a variation or, there's an unforeseen circumstance or something like that, like an earthquake or something, then you can then you can factor those things in so you're always protected.
Yeah.
But it gives the client much more trust that, okay, wow, he's willing to put his money where his mouth is,
Mhm.
and that's like important, I think, for building customer trust.
100%. I think it's also really important to understand the implications that this will have on everything else. Like, if you can nail that, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that you can't improve your profitability, sort of
Yeah.
thing, from doing it. So, like, if we look at this dashboard here and we go, okay, cool. So the same financial outcome is achieved by these
Yeah.
two businesses. We make $800,000 in gross profit, except one does it at 19% margin, but the other does it at 20% margin because you're able to improve the profitability of your quote
Yeah.
because all of a sudden you're like, bro, you're in. I'll
Yeah.
pay for your thing. It might cost you an extra $10,000, but you'll probably end up with an extra 10 leads.
Exactly.
You'll probably end up quoting fewer of them and converting more of them because people are like, oh well, I'm not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
And you're probably converting them at better profitability, at better margins. And 1% margin on this forecast here is the difference
Which
between $210,526 in extra required revenue, right?
1%. 1%. Wow.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, yo, if you could stack all these things from like, we'll pay for your rent, and then other examples that I've seen is again, we've got young children on site in a renovation running around. We've got a no nails policy. That means for every nail that you find on site, we put $50 into the nail jar and $50 to the charity of your choice, right?
Yeah.
There's also a no yucky things on site, which doesn't mean anything, but it also means everything because to, somebody that's like, I just am really nervous and scared and worried about this thing. It's like, well, we keep a really tidy site. And again, like our policy is like no yucky things, whatever that means. But it means that you can communicate over the intangible. Another great example I've seen is like we only hire people that pass our own mother's test. If we wouldn't have them build our own mother's homes, they ain't building yours, right? And
Yeah.
disclosing how many I saw this one, which actually was funny because he shared it at a summer and a workshop of ours, and it was that we only hire about 10% of applicants that come through. And everybody's just like, where the fuck are you getting 10 applicants? It's so
Yeah.
hard to hire people at the moment. But the point is like the more of
Yeah.
these like labels or names or stats or like clear things that you can put into how you do stuff differently, the more you can make the intangible tangible, you can differentiate yourself from other people and you can make your messaging and the clarity of like what sets you apart way more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 100%. I mean, it's what we do with clients when we build out their offers and things like that is it's what can we, I like the nail one, if we find a nail, well, because if you already do good, and I think people get worried about this, but they shouldn't, because if you're doing good workmanship, there won't be a nail there because you would have checked it. So it's basically it actually doesn't really matter because
Yeah.
you're gonna be fine anyway. So it's just talking your company up more and more and more.
Yeah. But
Um,
it ties in, it's like it helps to put downward pressure on standards and culture and values to the rest of your
yeah,
team because you communicate this through to your crews, right? And you go like, there's that famous phrase, strategy culture eats strategy for breakfast. And it's almost like you don't get what you deserve, you get what you tolerate. And it's the same thing on site. If we were to communicate to the team and like very visibly go like, guys, we put $600 into this nail jar this week, right?
yeah,
You guys are costing me a heap. I can't possibly afford to pay you bonuses or whatever, you're either going to force change upon the team or force them out of the team because they're like, I don't like these standards anymore. This is fucking ridiculous, right? But you're going to get rid of the wrong people from your team, you know?
Completely.
Yeah,
Weed out the bad people and bring in the people. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool thing that you have there. And then they want to live to that standard. So
exactly, exactly. Okay, cool. So like one of the big things people need to get their messaging and their positioning and their offer right. What are some of the other things that people could do better to build converting websites, not just pretty websites?
case studies. That is a huge one. Not just like some before and afters, like actual case studies. And I'll give a real story about this. We were doing a build for a client, like a website build, and they were had been in business for like 30 years since 91, I think
Is
maybe.
this the one in Brisbane that you told me about?
Yeah, the one in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Um, and they have done some incredible work, like $5 million homes, $9 million homes, like huge stuff. They didn't have any of this showcase on their website. It was just like some photos which looked cool, but there was no story about how it was tight access spaces, getting in there, and then actually the block, the slope, all those things show your expertise
Expertise.
and shows your level of quality, which nothing else. We can say how great we are, but if we actually show this incredible piece of home and then walk everybody through the challenges that were experienced and how we overcame those to then deliver this incredible thing. People resonate with that, and they also will be like, "Wow, these guys have excellent workmanship that they were able to really build out of this sloping block, this incredible home." Like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
it's gold because so you could like you 100% don't want to be a generalist, jack of all trades, master of none. Nowadays, everybody is a specialist. The UX specializes in new builds, renovations, extensions, additions, knockdown rebuilds, second story additions, house lifts, whatever. Anybody can put that on their ute. You want to be the trusted advisor and the go-to for a particular suburb, project, technical difficulty, and things like that. And if you don't have these case studies teaching and educating people about all of these nuances, then you don't have the ability to sort of like communicate that across. So case studies are about them, testimonials are about you, right? So you want to communicate across to them what their project's going to be like, why this was important, how this was done, all that sort of specifics. That's really good.
And who is the family? Like, maybe there's someone that's reading that's in that exact same position. Yes, we want to upgrade from where we're at. We want to build our next home, or we've built a home before and we want to now build another one. That's where the ideal customer profile, the customer avatar comes in, because then everything you communicate will go towards that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Because people want two big questions answered as well. Like once they start going through the funnel, like initially on the surface, it's those five concerns and the four questions. Who are you? Who's your team? How can I trust you? And how can you help me specifically? But that,
Right.
how can you help me specifically, can be broken down a little bit further. And it's like, how can you help me? And how can you help me in my situation? I'm unique. I'm different.
Everyone thinks they're unique and
I'm
different. So
special, baby. You know?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure thing you are special. Dropped as a child, all right? Like,
And that's why you need to talk to them as if what they're thinking about already when they're in that decision making process. So answering those four questions that you said, Owen,
Mhm.
is going to go a long way. But what is the conversation they're having? And they say, oh, how much is it going to cost me? Like, oh, am I going to blow my budget? I've heard the horror stories of all these nightmares. Like, these are the things that people are thinking about. And maybe there's some other hidden things that you need to basically communicate and address those concerns.
Yeah.
If you don't address them, they won't have instill the trust, and then they won't, this is a significant investment. If I'm spending $1 million plus, I was speaking to one of your members, two to $3 million plus homes, I mean, this is a significant thing. You've got to be showing them everything possible for them to trust you, and that you understand them, and that you show them how much you care
Yep.
before you show them how much you know. So
Totally. Yeah. Will this work for me in my situation? Totally. So, okay, cool. This is good. So, positioning, case studies. What else we got?
I would say the About Us page.
Yeah.
So who you are, who your team is, timeline of how you got into the store. It needs to humanize yourself with the brand, with
Yeah.
your brand. So when people click on that, they see the case studies, they see, okay, we've got all the phases. They're speaking directly to me. I can see some of the work they've done, incredible. And it's like, wow, they do some really good stuff. They were able to get into really tight access spaces and create a really amazing home with a steep block, things like that. Then when they come to the about us, like, oh wow, they've been in business since 2005 or 2007. 2007 was a big year, 2011, milestones we're seeing to be a big thing. That's where people are clicking at. And the more you can show about yourself and who you are and why you got into this, I think you guys do an excellent job at doing that, with Marty's story and how he got into building and building coaching and stuff like that. That's the type of stuff we need to have for, you know, for
Yeah.
builders.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Specificity leads to credibility, and the more that we can kind of like build that connection, that know, like, and trust, because like trust is transferable and it's accumulative. So what we mean is like the more that we can build trust pockets of case
yeah,
studies, of histories, of milestones, of associations with preferred partners, trusted suppliers, that is accumulative and it's transferable. So we transfer it all over into one and it stacks up on top of each other. One case study is not as good as 25 case studies, sort of thing, you know?
yeah.
And
The
then,
quality, the quality of the case studies as well.
yes,
Um, so and for the stuff that you want to be doing. So don't if you want to be doing like kitchen renovations, don't put all the bathroom renovation things up there. That's not going to be
yeah.
congruent. You can put a few bathroom ones, but that's where all the comms need to be like clear in
Yeah.
every phase on digital.
Exactly. Or the reason why. Some of the most important copywriting is reason why copy. And it's like you might put something that's different, you know, like a milking shed or a relocation project or a bathroom or a kitchen when you're doing something different, but you need to say why that's relevant. You know, most people would think that a milking shed has no relevance to a construction, like a new home project. But actually, from this project that we cut our teeth on at the beginning of our career, it taught us A, B, and C, E, F, and G. Working with clients in a remote setting that weren't on site, that had quick turnaround time and had to be operational by a certain date so they could milk the damn cows or whatever. You know, like so we need reason why copy that ties it together and helps you to position it as like reasonable. The thing
Yes.
with the other, like, that whole trust piece is that, and what I was saying before, like, specificity leads to credibility. And if it's like, just a picture of a project and it's by, John,
Yep.
project was great. That's like at this end of the trust continuum. And everyone's like, John, huh? Sure thing, whatever you say, buddy. But
Yeah,
at
yeah,
this end, if we've got a video and I can see it in John's face, I can hear it in his voice, I can look him in the eyes, and he goes,
yeah.
"This was
Guys.
great." You know, as soon like he said the same thing, "This is great, this is great," except he's actually saying it, and the high trust credibility factor is through the roof in comparison.
That was going to be my next point. So
Sorry, I
video,
stole it.
yeah, video testimonials is the most important thing to grow a business, I think, especially online. You can have someone refer you, you can have all those things happen and they can speak to them on the phone and they can chat to them. That's huge. But to actually see it in their, in their eyes and in their face and in their body language is even bigger. And even if you can't, I know it's hard for builders to get these video testimonials. I know because I work with quite a few and they're like, oh yeah, we try, we try. What you can do is if you can get a photo of their face and their full name, and that's okay, and they can leave a review on Google, and you can do that. You can say, hey, it's verified Google, and then you have their full name and a face and maybe their project.
Yeah.
That is as good as getting a video testimonial because it shows that that authenticity. But video is huge as well. If you can do it and invest and get your clients to do it for you, like that's huge.
Yeah. Do you often work with people on video stuff, or do you like, because we use a couple of friends and and partners, and we've had some really cool engagements with New Heights Media. But do you also do video, or how does it
No,
work?
we don't do video. We would use that asset on the website. We just
Yeah.
really try to hone in on what we're good at. Yeah, video is a whole
Yeah.
different
It's a
different thing.
big beast. Yeah, we don't do it either. We work with Joyce over at New Heights Media, and
But
she's
we would love, Owen, we would love to have builders giving us video content so we can use it. Had that client that I was telling you about in Brisbane, they did an incredible home, so we put that as the cover video. So
Hmm,
yeah, it's
got
huge.
you.
If we get some more videos, guys. Let's
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
videos. It's so I've seen people it's almost like a sawdust strategy as well, or a big domino that knocks a lot of other stuff over. If you can get a video, there's normally like two or three types of videos that we want to go after or we recommend, and it's like the case study, the testimonials, but the director's video. And director's video is almost like a how we work with you video, because from that we can use this same with the case studies, we can use a lot of the stills and turn it into a PDF or a flyer,
Yeah,
or like a ebook or a download or what we would call a lookbook.
yeah,
Because once you've got the asset, it's a distribution game. We want it to
yeah.
like live everywhere and be seen and consumed by as many people as possible. Because the higher the consumption rate, the higher the throughput or the actual conversion rate, sort of thing. So like, if you get a video, that video now is now a distribution go. It goes on your website, yes, but it should go in your PS of your emails. It should go as a separate newsletter email. It should go ideally on the uh, to
Social.
on the yeah on all the socials, 100% pinned posts at the top of the socials, chopped up for regular reposting, anniversary repost of the project completion. It should go
Yeah.
on the TV at the sports club with captions so that when people are watching it over Christmas and New Year at the golf club, they see your logo and your case study or how we work with you video playing at the sports club all the time. It should be turned into a PDF so that people can download it and read it from your website. It should be printed as a magazine so it can be accidentally left in cafes, waiting rooms, GP clinics, physiotherapy waiting rooms, all this sort of stuff. Like you want it every fucking where, you know?
Everywhere, and it's good because you can do it once and then repurpose, you know. So it's
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
amen. So good. So I'm curious, like, people want to go and audit themselves. Like, you've pulled together, working with Cole, who's a savage, a little bit of a checklist and stuff, and that'll be available in the show notes and things. And we can unpack a couple more ways that you can turn your website into a converting machine. But I just want to like learn a little bit more about your history, your background, and like what got you to here and why you chose to work so closely with builders. Like, tell us a little bit more.
yeah, well, I've got to do my own kind of humanizing of myself. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, in 20 about 10 years ago, I studied marketing at university, and then I kind of like online was getting much bigger. This was back in 2018 around. And then I just fell into it. I was getting into the courses, and then I started to learn how to build websites. And then COVID hit, unfortunately. So that kind of threw things, and everyone was cutting on marketing spend, and it was I had to pivot. Then I started experimenting with AI before ChatGPT was like the global phenomenon. Before it was publicly released, we were experimenting with AI where we were publishing before and afters of like construction work, like people in trades, to their website. So we would actually create these case studies with AI, and photos, and read the photos and then publish it to, predominantly it was WordPress only at
Yeah.
the time. And then that just kind of like got me introduced to the building industry. And that's why it was the startup was based in LA. So I was working with a lot of clients out in California,
Mhm.
and helping them, and that's how I kind of understood about the market and what's required there. Then the startup just fell out. I just fell out of touch and love with it. And just with my co-founder, just things just didn't go as well as I hoped. And I had to pivot and go in a different direction. And that's when I started my own agency like 3, 4 years ago now. And then I started working with builders, and I got referred to because a lot of people liked working with me. Like, hey, look, can you do this for us now? Build a website, help us run some advertising. So that's kind of how it evolved. And then, yeah, just stayed in the industry, and yeah, now doing much better work than I had like 3 years ago. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, so good. What the startup you were in LA, your co-founder in LA as well, or like how did that
Yeah.
work? Yeah.
Yeah, he was based out there. So basically, he had a preliminary version of the software back in 2020, where he was helping his own clients publish these testimonials, basically these case studies where they would take photos from your phone,
Hmm.
and it was a mobile app. It would be connected with your website, and it would automatically publish it to your website and create a story of it,
Nice.
which was awesome. Now all that stuff can be done with AI, like ChatGPT and things like that. So needs some instructions, but it can definitely be done now.
Mm.
And so yeah, that's kind of what happened. And then it just things he wanted to take the software in a different direction, and I didn't, and I was like no, and then I was just like, look, I can't work with you anymore. I can't.
Yeah, sure.
Then just moved on and did my own thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So I'm keen to like know like and if it's too personal, that's all good. But like, when you break out of a partnership, business partnership, was it amicable? Or was it just a misalignment of values and direction of the company? Or like, did you sell your portion or gift your portion? Like, how does that kind of all work? Because a lot of people in the building industry are in partnership. That's either partnership with their significant other, their life partner, or maybe they do have a business partner. And it's one of the either the biggest unlocks or the biggest anchors that's like stalling growth. So, like how did you find your experience?
Yeah, it was exciting in the beginning. So I actually pre-sold a lot of clients. We didn't have a product. We didn't have anything. We actually sold it to agencies first because we thought, okay, they have clients already. Maybe they have good relationships. They
Hmm.
can then utilize it. We can then sell it and white label it to them. That was the initial thinking, and it was super exciting. And we sold like for $1,500 for the year,
Yeah.
like 10 betas. And it was super exciting and great. And this was out of product. I'm like, okay, when I have a product, I'm going to be able to just sell this like cupcakes, you know? So that was kind of it was fun in the beginning, and then it started to wane. And I think with me and him, what the hardest part was he was a developer first,
Sure.
right? Not much social skills, where I was more of the social, like personal, like
Yep.
reaching out to clients, onboarding them, and there was just a lot of a disconnect on that element and that aspect. An incredible developer, such a forward thinker, really incredible person. Just couldn't. I just felt like he was holding me back from, hey, we need to get these out. And then there was a bit so many bugs, and it just didn't work out. Look, we're on good terms now. Like, you know, if I was to call him and have a chat, we would chat, and he would tell me some cool thing he's doing. But to be in business with, it wasn't the right move. So
Yeah.
initially it was great, and then it just never moved forward. And I think a lot of it was him not delegating enough.
Mm.
And you know, it was like, you know, it felt like it was his baby, not ours.
Sure.
And yeah, that was a hard kind of thing. 'Cause I'm like, this is also my baby. Like I put in so many features into here, and you know, so many requests and so many things, and it felt, yeah, it felt there was a misalignment in communication for sure.
Yeah, sure. It's really interesting. Like, Marty and myself, we're business partners, and every time that we have, you know, constructive conflict, it's because we're misaligned on vision. We're not communicating a lot enough, and we're like fuzzy on role scope. So, like,
Yeah.
vision is super important. Like, what are we building, and timeline on vision as well. Like, what are we building and how fast are we building it and where are we going? Like, and are we running, walking, or jogging towards this in this direction based on like the month, the week, the time of the year, sort of thing. Then there's like role scope, like how do we actually share the load and who does what, and that comes together with the second point that I said, which is communication, which is like we're on the phone, we're talking to each other like every single day, because like the company lives and dies and thrives or survives based on like the mojo of the owners and the founder and the directors. Like if they're in shitty moods and like not getting along or like having a bad week, like it trickles through the whole fucking company. It's just a nightmare.
I've seen it. I've seen exactly what you're saying happen, where the directors are almost like, okay, it feels like we can't. I worked for another company in the interim, and yeah, it's the same thing. He just was holding himself back, and
Yeah.
he couldn't delegate. Everything was secret. It's like that those things that he's thinking. It's the fish rots from the head down, and it's the same thing in organizations.
Yeah.
And it starts from the top and is filtered.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Massively.
It's a lot of
I
pressure.
see.
It feels like a lot of pressure, though. It does. It feels like probably for you guys, it feels like, well, if we're not on our game, then our
Mm,
team's not on their game, and you kind of need the team to. I think that's where being vulnerable is super important. Where it's like, hey, look, we're not like, let's try and like push through this and whatnot, and they can have those, hey, oh, we should do this, or so
totally.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's where you need to have like a great team around you to support you and to, help. And then to understand your role as like the business owner and the leader is to do exactly that, like lead, course correct, provide coaching, provide the resource for the team to like move as quickly towards the goal that you set as possible, to be really clear around what goal you're setting. Otherwise, a whole team gets whiplash and you're like, we're doing this, we're over here and fucking that thing. And
I
then,
like to compare it to sports where it's like the team, is you can't always be up. Like you just can't. Like the captain cannot always be on his game. There's got to be other guys around him who are going to carry the load to
Mhm.
bring him to promised land, like and to get the win. Like it's the same thing in business. Like you need other people around you that when you're not having the best or they're not, you guys can feed off each other and lift each other up.
Totally.
That's
Yeah,
such an
I mean, like, look at this. Like, you're doing a training and a workshop with head of curriculum and content, Cole, and it simply wouldn't get done and be done particularly well if I was in charge. Cole is better than me at this stuff, and
yeah,
like, I think
yeah,
we even stalled out, and for the first like two or three
yeah.
engagements, like you and I were like, I was like, oh yeah, it'll happen. As soon as I hand it to Cole, it's like, boom, done.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah,
sweet,
yeah.
thank you, Cole, you're a
They're
savage.
specialists in their role and who are very good at doing that. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's important. I actually wanted to ask you, how do you think the AI is affecting or is going to affect the building space?
I think massively. So we've seen quite a slow uptake on tech in general in the building space. And I think that AI will bunny hop a bunch of tech uptake. So, like, whereas maybe the software uptake has been slow, I think that a lot of companies are still only being like, oh, pricing software, project management software. Wow. I think that a lot more people will get onto the AI uptake faster. So whereas it's taken like 20 years for a software to be uptake to happen, I imagine it will take far less time for AI uptake to happen.
Okay.
But I also don't think that it's going to change the game. And ultimately, like, businesses most business problems is a who, not a how problem, right? It's like as the business owner, you want to like go, well, who is in charge and who is leading the sites? Who is in charge and who is in charge of your cash flow and your profitability? Who for your marketing? And Chatty G or AI, to me, still falls a little bit more in the who, not the how column. And that like it's good, but it's your who to a degree. Or you shouldn't even often be the person that's doing the Chatty G stuff. Like there still needs to be a who driving that AI piece. So I think there's a lot to it, a lot to unpack around it. And it's kind of like, it'll be massively beneficial, probably improve a lot of the efficiencies around our overheads and
Yeah. Do you
everything.
think quoting will be done faster?
Look, I think there's heaps of areas that it could be applied to, from marketing to sales to drafts and plans to quoting
Yeah.
to compliance pieces, code like handovers. Uh, I think that it won't be as it won't be picked up as quickly as say, like where it we picked up in maybe like marketing agencies or accounting firms or other industries, but it will be taken up faster than software has been taken up over the last 25 years or sort of thing,
I think there's more value. I think there's more value for like, hey, here's a software compared to, hey, here's an AI that will do this X task for you.
Yeah.
I think that will play into the minds more of people. I think if I can answer my own question, it's like I don't know in terms of building specifically, but I know in terms of the world. it's disrupting every industry. And I don't think building to be any different to that at all. And I think it's going to create a lot of operational efficiency, but it's also going to create, I don't think it's actually going to be as much job loss in building as it is will be in other industries.
For sure.
I think it's such a, I think trades are very safe for this because they, who's going to who's like a robot's not going to come and clean your burst, fix up your burst pipe.
No.
You're going to need a human that understands. They may use AI in their process in order to diagnose the problem faster,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna change. And I think that's going to be the same thing with building as well.
Exactly. I think it improves a lot of the operational efficiencies. Like, for example, around, you know, just like a lot of lean manufacturing principles, like how sites are set up, having people clock in, clock out, having better understanding of like troubleshooting and problem solving on compliance and on, like understanding reading plans. There'll be a heap of application, but the actual building piece is probably not going to be trimmed down. Like in other industries, for example, you typically want to stay away from like processes where it's almost like manufacturing and margins just get squeezed and squeezed and squeezed and squeezed and there's little value. It's like becomes more and more efficient. I think in like building, you get there'll be a lot of efficiency that initially helps with like labor efficiencies because we're not double handling or triple handling or having heaps of thinking time. And ultimately that is the biggest variable on almost every building project at the moment. It's like, it's the labor efficiency because you give Leon, Owen, and Builder B the same project. We're going to use about the same materials, about the same sub trades, but Builder B is going to get it done first, Leon's going to get it done second, and I'm going to get it done in 6 weeks, sort of thing, because I'm shit, right?
Yeah.
So like the variable is in the labor, and I think a lot of the help of the AI like compresses a lot of the thinking around other shit, but it'll be interesting. We'll see how it sort of plays out.
I think what could be amazing for the site, for sites, for the builders could be the actual understanding what is going on at sites with AI because
Yeah,
logging the process and then having that within an AI system
yeah,
where people can then ask the question, oh, what went on here? And that could be good for clients as
yeah.
well. So then
Well,
there's not constant back and forth between the builder and the client. It's just, here's the AI, just ask it the question. We've logged everything we can possibly log into
totally.
here. Yeah.
Well, I imagine it probably exists. I just haven't heard of it or seen it yet. But like, there's that business called VO, which records professional or amateur sports games as like a camera, tracks everybody, measures their distances and their speeds and like their exertion levels and stuff like that, and feeds it out with a report. And like that exists in an industry where it's like already done manually, like video analysts and stuff, and then VO comes along and does it with a camera and an AI, so a piece of hardware and then a piece of software, and like that surely could be applied to building sites. Hard to see around corners and shit gets in the way, so I'm sure like on paper it's a great idea and in practice it's a very difficult one.
Yeah.
But like it's a more of a question of like when, not if, sort of thing.
Yeah. I think it's a when thing, not an if thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, yeah.
It's going to help builders tremendously, I think. So,
Mm,
yeah, be
yeah.
good.
So, amazing. So what's next for Local Engage? Like, how are you trying to grow your business, or like, what does success look like to you?
Yeah, we're growing through partnerships and referrals at the moment. We're going to start running our own advertising. I actually need to redo my own website,
Hmm.
and
Nice.
there we need to be in the positioning. So we practice what we preach
Yeah.
in that space. So because we're getting a lot of people come to us just naturally, and they're checking us out online, and so even if someone calls me, right, I think this is good for the builders to understand is, if someone calls me and then they get off the phone like, hey, we want a quote for this, or we want, hey, what can you do in relation to this? That's their first point of contact. And then when they go and they say, oh, I just want to check out his business, okay, local engage, I'll just type it in. And then they see, okay, there's reviews, and they come to the website and there's some case studies and there's some testimony, that increases the trust even more, So that's what we're trying to play in to grow the business. We're working a lot with construction, like at the moment. I think we're going to continue to go in that direction. And yeah, we're working with some other bigger type clients, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at in terms of yeah, trying to grow the business. We want to try and grow. We want to be doing at least, we want to try and grow like six. We want to try and do like six websites a month,
Hmm.
right? So new projects in.
Nice.
A lot of them do just kind of flurry over to months over and stuff like that. So we want to bring in more of that type of work. So yeah, which is perfect.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so good. So good. We talk at this time of year in bets. So like we're doing a lot of like strategy and planning with our team. And one of the analogies that we use is like how we're entering next year with 52 chips at the table, 52 weeks of the year, and we need to place bets on what we're going to put our time and money towards. And then they come back and they go like, we're going to make a bet on this and make a bet on that. So for example, the bets that we've made in the last sort of 12 months have been on like events. We've gone from like 0 events to next year we'll do somewhere in the region of, 70 events around the world sort of thing. And then the other one is like content, far more content. We've gone from basically doing Sweet FA to a lot more on Instagram, a lot more on paid ads, a lot more on podcasts, a lot more on YouTube. And using the principle of like from this book called Unreasonable Hospitality on moving the kitchen into the middle of the restaurant. In that, like, we do amazing work with members and our coaches do great work as well, but it's hidden out the back of the restaurant. Like, you wouldn't know about it. We want to make them celebrities or celebrity chefs and bring it to the front, bring it to the middle of the restaurant with our content. So there's like two bets that we're making. What are the bets that you're thinking about making from your business?
I like the events part. Networking has been a big one for me. Just going there, connecting with people, and then they connect with this person, they connect with that person. We want to be bringing in more partners. I think that's another thing. So we don't do video testimonials. We're looking for partners that can do that at a reasonable rate. We're trying because then they refer clients to that. So we're trying to grow a little bit more like organically,
Mhm.
and then we want to place bets on. I do like the events portion. I think we probably will start running events at some point. And yeah, I think that's definitely a massive bet for us. And we want to grow through actually the more through online. It's been less so online, which is funny as we're a marketing agency, but yeah, digital. But we
Yeah.
want to grow more online and start ramping up our ad effort.
Nice. Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So good. Nice. So, where can people find you? Where should they go? What should they do to continue the conversation?
Yeah, so if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can. So it's just Leon Sokolski, just type in my name, you'll see it. Or you can
Kolski, where's that from?
Sokolski, that's Polish.
Polish. Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, right.
Polish, Eastern European roots.
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah.
Never been.
Um, Never been, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think my parents are going next year, actually. I'm not going, but they're going. And then you can find me at localengage.io. So that's LOKALENGAGE.io. And that's just my website. You can just type us into Google as well. It'll come up.
Nice.
So
Okay. Perfect.
yeah.
I'm yet to sort of get into the link. Sorry, what's that?
Yeah, or you can email me at leon@localengage.io.
Perfect. Okay, nice. I'm yet to get into the LinkedIn game. I need to up my LinkedIn game. I
Oh man, it can be a bit trashy, I'll tell you. Just everyone saying, "Oh, and this happened," and I don't know. I don't think it's your vibe, Owen, to be honest.
No, I don't think it is either. Based so like we I got B, who's my EA. She like triages a lot of my emails, and
Yeah, yeah,
when she first joined, she was like, "I really need to update your LinkedIn," and I'm like, "Yeah, sweet as. I'll send you some stuff to put on it." And
yeah,
when I first moved, spent some time in the new place that I downloaded this app called Stranger Soccer, and it
yeah,
was like futsal games, and it's
yeah,
like an app where you like rate people and like go, how was your opponent and stuff like that. So I've got a
yeah,
bunch of like testimonials around how I performed at Stranger Soccer, and I've got stuff like thunderous shot, twinkle toes, actually far better than he looks, moves smooth. And
yeah.
I was gonna like put all my Stranger Soccer endorsements on LinkedIn, and she was like, "You don't get what LinkedIn's about, do you?"
It's not at all. It's like suits and like
Yeah,
professional, like you
uh,
know.
yeah. See,
Good,
I think it would. I think it would just be a bit more personable if people understood that I had a thunderous shot when it came to indoor
Yeah, yeah,
futsal. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe I stay off LinkedIn, but connect
For
with you
now.
on LinkedIn. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Well,
connect with me. Connect with
yeah.
me. I think we are connected, but if
Okay,
we're
sweet.
not.
Nice. So good. Awesome. All right. Well, Leon, thank you very much, brother. It's been fantastic. And I look forward to sort of like everybody go down into the show notes and download the checklist. There's a checklist down there on how to audit your website for conversion, not pretty pictures. We've done it in collaboration with Leon because he's really good at this, and we've got some great history. But he's the one with his nose to the coal face, doing it every single day. Work with a few of our members, and we're really happy to sort of see the results that he's getting with them. So go and check out that checklist, audit yourself, and if you suck, then talk to your coach or talk to Leon. If you're average or okay, then work out what you need to do in the next 90 days to improve things. And if you're doing really, really well, then you need to spend money on paid ads. You need to go harder and you need to like grow your business and get aggressively after it. So good, well done on you for having a great score. But everybody else, talk to somebody and get some help.
Yeah, and as I'm happy to walk anybody through it if they need, and I can audit their site. I think that's something that's going to be coming out in the future with Cole and myself. We're going to be launching a course around this, so stay tuned for that. And we're going to run some workshops and jump on some calls with you guys and have a proper conversation about how we can specifically for you and what's going on with your website at the moment.
Love it so much. Fantastic. All right. What are you going for the weekend, dude? This is our last one. If anybody's listening to this thinking they're a bit loose today, it's probably because it's Friday afternoon. So what are you doing?
We're a bit loose as well. We're already getting on it. I'm going out tonight with some friends I haven't seen in a while, but yeah, Saturday I don't have much on. I thought I was going to say something. Yeah, no, not too much actually. I've got to clean out my garage and yeah, got to clean out some things. I guess you're getting a new car as well, so yeah, got to
Nice.
pick it up. A bit going on, bit going on.
Love it. Love it. Awesome, dude. I'm if anybody follows me on Instagram, Owen from TPB, you see that every Sunday I just post pictures of steak. I was gonna say pictures of my meat, but I might come across incorrectly. I post
Yeah,
pictures of steak that we're cooking. So this weekend, some more steaks.
follow that. I'm going to follow that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Perfect. All right. Take care. See you later. Thank you very much.
Cheers.